Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet, Pat Chat Edition. I'm Violet.
And I'm Pat.
The reason we make these videos is because Patrick finds interesting articles online, sometimes good, sometimes confusing, and we like to go through them with you guys to just dispel some of the misinformation that we can find online or promote the good information that we find online. I'm not sure what's coming to me today, so I'm going to let Patrick take over.
This one, like today, this article, when I read it, like I did find it frustrating, like with the bunch of BS that was in that article. Like this is a perfect example of like how you should guys be careful when you read that kind of article. So it's a short article, but like, and it's missing references and stuff. But like,
It's missing references.
Yeah. Let's go through the ideas because it's like. So it starts with while once embraced by diet culture, the low carb craze has begun to infiltrate the nutrient regimens of athletes. Oh yeah, so we're talking about more athletes like we already did like in the past. But so first thing, instead of using the most convenient and natural form of energy, carbohydrates. Those who follow this diet philosophy predominantly rely on animal-based fat and protein stores to get them through their workout.
Well, the first thing that I would say is that how convenient were carbohydrates 500, 600, 1,000 years ago? Before we had agriculture, how convenient were carbohydrates? Actually, the more convenient form of energy was to catch some kind of animal and eat it, right? So we would have more than likely have been focused on animal proteins and fats. So that's the first thing I'm going to say. But the other thing I'm going to say is that, is it because something's convenient that is what we should be doing? You know, a lot of us that would mean for a lot of us that we should be eating at fast food restaurants every day rather than cooking because it's much more convenient. That would mean that, well, why the heck bother to do any exercise because lazing around the house is much more convenient. I don't try ever to do what's convenient. I try to do what's better for me. So I wouldn't encourage anyone to do what's convenient unless it's convenient and better for you. If it's convenient but putting you in a bad metabolic situation, in a bad financial situation, in a bad work situation, in a bad relationship situation, don't do it. So that's just my comment on convenient.
Okay. So while some may claim to make gains in the gym with the keto, those who take this idea too far not only can hold themselves back in regards to performance, we already covered that wasn't like super true either, but also wreak long-term havoc on their bodies without any So how can a keto wreak havoc on our bodies? I'm being sarcastic here.
I think the thing that I find interesting there is they're talking about getting gains in the gym. So we have so many examples of keto people in the space that are doing well physically. So we have Keto Savage and his wife Crystal, who, you know what's funny about Crystal? And I only learned this recently. So when Crystal met Keto Savage, she was not a bodybuilder.
Okay.
She's only been working out, when I say this, you're going to laugh, 3 years.
Okay.
And she looks how she looks. 3 years.
3 years. Being on keto, obviously.
Yeah. So, but it's like, it's a combination, right? Because when she met him, she was typical, you know, like whatever. Like she wasn't working out. So it's amazing to me that she's able to accomplish what she's accomplished. The other person I would point you towards is Goody Beats. The other person I would point you towards is Jason Whitrock. Although Jason does clearly state that he was not doing keto. Initially, he was doing a regular diet and he was already doing weightlifting, etc. But he's maintained doing keto. Another person, Logan Sneed, another one that does a ketogenic lifestyle. My point being, and these are, you know, I just gave you 4 different people and they all have slightly different, 5 people, including Crystal, slightly different body types. So you can have the look that you were trying to look if working out is what you're trying to accomplish and still be doing a ketogenic lifestyle. I think it's a fallacy to believe that there's only one way to get gains in the gym and that you have to be eating carbs to get gains. So At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself about what you're trying to accomplish. Is this about being healthy, or is it just about looking a certain way? And even if you're trying to look a certain way, you can accomplish it doing keto.
I'm going to say it again, like just go on YouTube and watch videos of bodybuilders like in the 70s versus bodybuilders like now. The guy is like, at the time, especially I'm thinking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, like he was just eating steak and eggs like most of the time. So they were more like with the diet, like going more towards fats than carbs. And you like see the difference like in their waistline and like it's incredible. So it must be noted that while the authors represent a well-rounded pool of perspectives and specialties, this analysis was sponsored by the for Potato Research and Education. So this is clearly a sign for you guys to see if like the article is biased or not. So you have an article promoting carbs sponsored by some kind of carbs producer.
Okay.
So
I have nothing to comment there.
Okay, so
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So next paragraph is titled "Our Body Needs Carbs."
So we already know that our body produces carbs. So do we need carbs? And I'll just put it to you like this. If you build a house and then you put solar panels on the roof and you put enough solar panels to be able to feed your house, and you have batteries and you have enough batteries that you can feed your house and then store enough energy to last you a week, do you need a hookup to hydro? No. Right? Like if I can make it myself, I don't need hydro to give it to me. Right? If I can make carbs myself, I don't need to eat carbs from outside. Right? But could I decide to have a hookup to hydro and use hydro even though I have solar panels on the roof? I can also decide to do that. Right? Would it be smart? Would it be efficient for myself right? Would I be wasting money? Sure. Right? Like we eat carbohydrates because we're told to eat carbohydrates because we don't know, most of us don't know that we don't actually need to eat them. Now, they also taste good. I'm not going to leave that part out, right? But we go back to that first thing. Is it better to do what's convenient or is it better to do what's better for you? I push people to do what's better for you. Okay. I'll tell you right now, if I had a bunch of solar panels on my roof, I would not be giving my money to hydro.
Okay, so next sentence that caught my attention. However, there's no denying that carbohydrates are essential for sustained daily athletic performance. We know that's not true. Of the three macronutrients, carbs are the most efficiently metabolized, converted to energy, and the only macro that can be readily utilized for energy to supply the fast twitch muscles used during period of high intensity exercise workouts.
So first of all,
yeah.
Carbohydrates are always used first because having them floating around in your system is dangerous. At the same time, if I allow myself to eat carbohydrates, my body is in a position where it's looking to utilize carbohydrates. So then it seems as if they're the more efficient way to go because my body looks to use them first. Does that actually mean that that's the best thing for me to be doing? Again, if I have a hookup to my house from hydro and I've got solar energy coming from the sky into batteries, using my batteries means I'm depleting my energy for the evening, right? So I have to wait all the way till tomorrow before I can replenish those batteries. I could see that there might be some people who might be scared of that and decide to use electricity, so spend money, rather than deplete their batteries, because what happens if it's cloudy tomorrow? But will it be cloudy for a week? Right? I said I had enough for a week. Will it be cloudy for a week? Not likely. Right? We have the ability to produce carbohydrates. We have the ability to produce enough carbohydrates to fuel our body, period. As long as you have fat on your body and as long as you have your body structure, you have enough on you to produce carbohydrates. And I will tell you that your body is not so stupid, because I know that's probably coming next. Your body's not so stupid to burn heart muscle rather than take a little bit of excess fat or skin that you might have laying around. Your body goes for the protein on you that's useless first. Your body is going to take dying cells. Your body is going to take cancerous cells. Your body is going to take the stuff that shouldn't be there. Point in fact, when we're constantly eating carbohydrates, we don't have the time, our body's not able to metabolize, so do autophagy, and clean up those cells. So you know how much you have on you that probably could be converted into sugar?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, so replenishing the glycogen store is not an issue
Replenishing
on a
your
low-carb
glycogen stores
keto.
is not an issue because your body will keep you in a position. Those fast twitch muscles are going to be replenished because your body is still thinking that we live on the savannah and a lion could be coming for us at any point in time. It's going to keep them topped up because if I need to run, I need to run. And if you go and exercise in the gym and deplete them, your body's going to go to work to replenish them. Whether you do keto or whether you do standard American diet, you're still going to get replenished.
And what would you say to somebody that would tell you that carbs are necessary for a proper and speedy recovery? What about the recovery part after the workout?
You have more growth hormone when you are working out in a fasted state. So right away, they don't know what they're talking about. Growth hormone is what's going to help you to do your recovery, and it doesn't happen because you've eaten carbs. So I would say no. That's what I would say to that.
Okay, researchers cited a study which found carbs-deprived athletes to experience impaired cognitive performance and mood, perceptions of fatigue, and an inability to focus.
Of course, and I'm going to say yes to that because I'm going to guarantee that those carb-deprived athletes were athletes who were regular athletes who then they took their carbs away and said go perform. They didn't use. I'm 99.99999% sure that they didn't use keto adapted athletes.
Yeah, no, for sure not.
Right. So again, it's like if you're trying to prove something, you're going to be able to skew the evidence to prove something. But the thing that they need to think about. And just to give you the example, because if you want, you can go check out Keto Savage has a video where I think he gave himself like a month, maybe 2 months to prepare himself for a marathon. And he ran a marathon. And yes, by the end of the marathon were his feet killing him because he's not a runner. But did he get through the entire marathon not having carb loaded the day before and not having had carb?
And
right?
He never did a marathon before.
He'd never done a marathon before, but on top of that, he didn't have a loss of clarity. He was fully aware his feet were hurting him.
Okay, those who participate in extended physical challenges need to replenish with carbs as our bodies require more carbs as they become dehydrated.
When you are a carb burning person, you automatically have water retention because carbohydrates hold water. So when you are exercising and you sweat out the water, of course your body is desperately looking for water, right? It's normal that it would be doing that. Does that mean that, like, I'm not really sure what their point is for that. Like it's like we need carbs because we like this really is actually the opposite. Is that you were not eating so many carbs when you sweat, you wouldn't become dehydrated. I mean, yes and no. If you sweat profusely for hours and hours, any person will become dehydrated. But
you just need to drink, not get
But
carbs.
You just need to drink. You don't need carbs. Exactly. You don't need to replenish carbs because, again, your body can make them.
Yeah.
I'll take this article a step further. When you're fat adapted, the carbs that you do ingest and the carbs that you do produce are preferentially sent to the parts of your body that need carbs. So rather than having carbs being stored away in your liver and your pancreas and in places that is going to harm you, the parts of your body that will actually use them are given them. And then your glycogen stores are filled up. Right? It's efficient. Right? It's so hard to help people to understand that it's kind of like if I go to the store and I buy groceries and I bring them home and I buy enough groceries to last me for the week and I put them in the fridge and I put a bit in the freezer, Then next week, when it's time to buy groceries, because I bought for 1 week, when I go to the store and buy again for 1 week, when I come home, I will be able to put them in the fridge and put them in the freezer. But if I go to the groceries and buy enough groceries to last a month, even though I only have space in my fridge and freezer for a week, guess what happens? I'm going to get home and I'm going to try to put these things away. And now I'm going to have groceries in the fridge and groceries in the freezer and groceries on the counter and groceries on the table. And then next week when I go and buy another month's worth of groceries, but I don't have space for it, I'm going to have groceries on the counter and groceries on the floor and groceries. And guess what's going to happen to my groceries? They're going to spoil and disgust my house because I keep over buying groceries rather than just buy enough that I need. Your body is smart enough. So if you don't ingest too many carbs, it will get what it needs, put it where it needs to be, and say, yay. But if you over ingest carbs, it puts it in where it needs to be, and then it puts it in your liver, and it puts it in your pancreas, it tucks it under your skin, and it tucks it in all these places that it shouldn't be, and eventually you get eye problems because it's putting it in places where it's not supposed to be. All of this is happening. Why? Because you have too much sugar, and it's shoving it places that it shouldn't. It doesn't deserve to be. We need to understand our body creates carbohydrates. We don't need to eat them. And if you're going to eat them, eat 20 grams of carbs or less because that's what your body can manage to put away safely.
In regards to strength athlete, those who emphasize proteins often consume this macro in place of carbs, leading to an unnecessary surplus of protein and a significant carb deficiency, leaving them to be weaker, not stronger. But like, what happened when I overeat proteins?
So I feel like I don't even understand what the hell they're talking about there because first of all, if I overeat protein, what that means is I've eaten more protein than my body needs. What's my body going to do with it? It's going to turn it into fat, and it's going to turn it into, like, it's going to put it away. Right? It's going to turn it into carbs and use some of its carbs, and it's going to turn it into fat and put it away. Is it like toxic to overeat protein? No. Is it difficult to overeat protein? Kinda. Like if you're eating real protein. So this is where I come back to. Are they talking about people that are doing shakes and all this other stuff? That's easy to overeat. And again, it's going to be turned into, some of it will be turned into carbs, some of it will be put away as fat. Like it's just normal that your body's going to do something with it. That's part one. But the other thing is that they're saying basically, remind me what was the last bit of that?
Oh yeah, it's just like leaving them weaker, not stronger.
Yeah, why would that leave me weaker? So, I mean, if you're talking about the fact that I'm going to be weaker because I'm going to be fatter, okay, yeah, I could go there with you. But am I going to be weaker because I ate?
You don't have enough carbs to replenish your
glycogen Is that stores? What it's supposed to be?
I guess so.
I'm sorry. Okay, that's the key. That's kind of part of the interesting thing is that it takes a lot more energy to turn protein into carbs than it does to turn fat and well, I mean, you're going to need a little bit. Anyways, but it takes to turn fat into carbs. So chances are, even if I overate my protein, my body's going to do is it's probably going to put that away and then pull some fat from storage and make some carbs. So why would I be weaker?
Yeah.
Like, it's not a logical thing that they're saying there. And you said they didn't have any citations to make us understand where they're getting that information from. So I think sometimes you read articles like this. First of all, it's coming from a company that sells carbs. So, you have to be very cautious about like the validity of the things that they're throwing out there as reasons. Just knowing how the body works, that last one doesn't make a lot of sense because if I overeat proteins, it's going to get put away. Is that going to make me weaker? Like I said, maybe because I'm fatter, but beyond that, is it going to make me weaker? No, I still ate, right? I'm still going to have energy from the food that I ate. I still had protein. So if there was the possibility to build muscle because I did go to the gym, I'm still going to build the muscle. So even that last point, they're trying to say that because you're doing keto, you're more likely to focus on protein, which is wrong, by the way. This is another example of where they don't understand what the ketogenic diet is about. The ketogenic diet is not about eating more protein. It's about getting your carbohydrates down to 20 grams or less. Period. That's what it's about. That's what gets you into ketosis. You should be eating, especially if you're an athlete, you should be eating the amount of meat that you need to fuel um, the lean muscle that you have on your body, which is probably going to be much more than me because I don't have that much lean muscle on my body, right? I'm not a big, strong, like, I'm not a crystal, right? So, but that, like, you need to understand what you're doing. You need to understand what you're doing, right? So I feel like my goal here is to really help you to see that this is the last ditch attempt to scare you that if you overeat protein, somehow you're going to damage yourself. You're not going to damage yourself. Would I suggest overeating protein? No, because it will get turned into fat. And if your goal is to be healthier, if your goal is to be fit, overeating protein isn't going to help you. You should eat the amount that your body requires.
Yeah. But just another example of like you don't know where they got their information, but like the sentence go exactly like that. Low carb athletes tend to seek out animal-based sources of fat and protein. That's right, relying on foods like milk and whey protein to power their pre and post workout meals. Milk is super high in sugar. Like no low carb athlete would go with milk to fuel their pre and post workout. So when I read that, I was like, oh, okay, seriously, like this is crazy. Okay, so in conclusion, the authors of this analysis concluded that whole natural foods are the best choice for athletes. So there's no denying that. Yeah, there's no denying. Especially that whole and natural pertain to fruit, vegetable, and grain sources.
And I disagree with that.
There's not even like no meat like in that natural sources. So because there's nothing natural, and the last sentence is because there's nothing natural about humans drinking cow's milk. So
I don't even understand what that has to do with being keto or being low carb.
No, there's like nothing to do with like there was just like
no, but I'm just saying like they're saying there's nothing natural about humans drinking cow's milk, but what does that have to do with being low carb?
Nothing. Yeah. There was
like
just
again, they're talking about
they're basically bashing against like athletes that they define as low carb drinking milk in their post workout, but it's not even like the case.
But that's exactly it. It's like they're talking about low carb without understanding what low carb is and making the assumption that if you're doing low carb you must be drinking milk. But milk is not a low carb food.
Not at all.
So clearly they don't know what they're talking about. So we have to be very careful. You know, sometimes you're reading an article and things might look like there might be some validity, but then you see a few sentences and you realize, wow, these people don't know what they're talking about. And that's an interesting like final statement that a low carb person would be drinking milk.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of a group of people bashing on something to promote their own interest and not having like general health like at heart.
And I think that's the sad part, right? Because the truth is, if I'm writing this article and all I'm doing is searching for ways to try to say that keto can't be good, then what I'm really saying is for all you people out there where keto has helped you to regulate your metabolic issues,
lose weight,
helped you to lose weight, helped you to resume living a healthy, active lifestyle, for all you people that might not have started yet but might be helped by keto, I'm going to trick you into eating my product because it's more important for me to get your money than for you to be healthy.
But in that case, the product is a natural product. It's potatoes, but they're still not good. But like,
you know, the thing that makes me a little bit frustrated with stuff like this is that, for example, there's not a person on the planet that would disagree that a chocolate bar that's infused with caramel and nuts and, you know, nougat and, right? There's not a person on the planet that would disagree that that is not a health food. There's no one that would have to come to me and say, Violet, this is the healthiest way for you to get energy, right? Because everyone would agree that's not a health food. Do people buy those things? Today, people buy those things and they eat them, right? There's not a person on the planet that would come to me and say, oh, this lollipop, this is the healthiest way to get energy, right? Do people buy those things? Yes. You don't have to lie about the ketogenic diet to sell a potato because there will always be people who want mashed potatoes. There will always be people who want baked potatoes, and there will
Fries?
always be people who want French fries. There's no need to lie about a diet to sell a product. The same way that chocolate bars, candies, ice cream, chips, and cheesy puffy things, and chemical garbage is being fed to everybody. I can't even say children. It's everybody.
Okay, then
and people buy it. So rather than pretend that your product is healthy, sell it. And the people who want to buy it will buy it. And the people who don't want to buy it won't buy it.
I have an interesting idea. Could it be that the potato or cereal industry is kind of scared about versus a candy maker? They're not scared because they're like you said, they know they'll sell their stuff because people are always gonna have like chips and crap, even chips like potato chips. But yeah, maybe like the cereal and potato industry, the higher carb, even if it's whole food, like potato isn't a whole food, but like. Can it be just scared? But
I understand that, and I do believe that they're scared. That's not the point. The point is, rather than, back when we figured out that cigarettes cause cancer, the tobacco companies were so afraid that people would stop buying cigarettes that they fought and fought and fought to try to prove that, no, we're wrong, that right? Now, fast forward how many years? Do we know that cigarettes cause cancer? And do people still buy cigarettes? Are there new people learning to smoke today? So I'm sorry. I do not agree with the stance that I have to trick people into believing that a diet is bad for you in order to sell a product. Sell the product. There will always be somebody who's willing to eat what you're selling because in this moment, they're not scared about their health. The same way that there are young people today starting to smoke because in this moment, they're not worried about their health. Now, will they be worried about it 20, 30 years from now? Sure. Will they be struggling to get away from cigarettes at that point? Sure. Are cigarettes still sold today? Yes, they are. Right? Does the government know that cigarettes are horrible for us? Yes, they do. Have they banned cigarettes? No, they haven't. Look, as a matter of fact, not only have they not banned cigarettes, they're allowing in marijuana. You will always have the opportunity to poison yourself with whatever you want to poison yourself with. And if you choose to slowly poison yourself with carbs, you will have that opportunity. They don't have to lie about the ketogenic diet to allow that to happen.
Great conclusion.
Is that enough of a rant?
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to stop. I want to thank you for watching Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet, Pat Chat Edition. You brought a good article this time. You always bring good articles, but this one, okay. I want everyone to know that I do have a Patreon account. If you are interested in helping us to make more of these videos, please go to Patreon/Violet Rivera, where you can contribute to my channel and to production of videos. I want to thank everyone for watching Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet, Pat Chat Edition. I can't wait to talk to you next time. Yes, please. Yes, it's true. Subscribe. We need more subscribers. Yeah, please subscribe. And I can't wait to talk to you next time. Have a good rest of your day.